Perfect timing. Perfect timing. I
So,
do hear you, Sue. I do hear you. Brilliant.
okay.
I just said hello, Donna, but Donna was already there. Oh, look how nice Donna's hair is looking.
Good morning.
You see?
Good.
See, Vina?
Wow. Who is looking good there?
Yeah, when it just pull that laptop lid a little bit down to angle that camera so we can see you better. Thank you. There you
Who?
go. You're looking stylish and spiffy, Donna.
Stylish and spiffy.
Stylish and spiffy, and yes,
Okay.
very executive and GQ. I don't know what the example the I guess G2 like be LQ, right? Gentlemen's quarterly, be ladies quarterly
Took me a minute.
in LQ. What do you think, Vina? Yes.
How are you guys?
I was just saying
Good.
hello. And who is looking very good there? Who is looking really good today?
Yes.
I can't see you. Otherwise, I'd say you. I can't say still. I don't see anybody. But
Donna.
there you
I
are.
have to sit up straighter. I have to sit up
There you
straighter.
are. I
Brilliant,
didn't have
brilliant.
my screen so
It's
that
a
I could see vertically. I could only see horizontally, and I could only see myself. That was kind of scary for a minute. We're good now.
Donna, it's a question. Duh. Like duh.
How is everybody?
Brilliant.
Good?
Fabulous. We're having fun working on the Capital E Diplomacy course. And yeah, it's almost done now, actually. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah.
When did you start
Very
to think about creating the Moreness course? When did that actually come to you?
That's an interesting question because it's twofold. One, I always had in mind moreness of some kind, always. But specifically to make it in its current format, this was after Sue finished. She was just very keen for more. She wanted to let it go. So, she wants more and she wants to pay for more. It's like, well, I kind of have to make it now. I had a lot of other things I wanted to do, but okay, the universe attunement, she put the pressure on me. I could hardly refuse, right? It's up. So that's how it came. But yeah, there was always that idea to bring all of this into moreness, in some way. All the stuff from the blog and because okay, moreness books and stuff, but to bring it as part of the extended program, I always was there. You kind of have to, because yes, wave impeccability is complete, but we hunger for that moreness, and there is moreness. I can't possibly put it all into one program. It would be too huge. I mean, I could, but at maybe some point in the future, we'll say, fine, it's wave impeccability and this and that, and it's a year or 2, 3, 4 year the program, whatever. Fine, but it's a big commitment, so it's better to break it up. At least from my point of view, to undertake a 4-year commitment, that's a big deal for me to do. That's a very big deal. Even 8 months is a long time to commit to. So it just, what makes you ask, Donna? What makes you ask?
No, it just came to me the other day and felt like one of those. I need to ask him about that. Because it's come up a couple of times.
Yeah, something I've been thinking about big time is what you were saying about doing of, well, particularly hearing and helping, and it's different. Hearing and helping, it is very much different to the other programs in terms of the tasks and exercises. There is an overemphasis by design. Yes, very, very, very much so, for a couple of reasons. One, we are looking to change our default, and that needs a severe overbending, right? So that we get into the default of hearing, first off, right? Without question, without thought, without doing it deliberately or consciously. No, innately. This is our default, to first listen. This is a difficult habit to get into. It requires much overbending. But there's even more to it than that. It's also because when we are with wave impeccability, sorry, let me backtrack a bit. The intent behind it is to establish absolute wizardry. real expertise when it comes to hearing. Why is this so crucial? So okay, and why is this not so profoundly and deeply emphasized in way of impeccability? Because your impeccability is still your personal choice, right? How much you wish to apply it, it's really up to you. But when it comes to hearing others, this has to be complete. You can't do it in half measures. If you do it in half measures, the whole exercise is kind of wasted. Yeah. And you're not going to get the full value of capital H hearing. Capital H hearing, if you truly want to actually use it and say you are using it, it's kind of an all or nothing deal. You have to go that all way to hear in the fullness of what it means. Otherwise, it's not doing it, right? So that's again that reason for that excessive emphasis. It has to be. It has to be. Yeah, make sense? Love it. I love it. I love Donna's earnest face, boy. Oh, it's like, man, the world is going to change any second now. Are you ready for it? Yeah, Donna's ready. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Shifting from having to like close my eyes and turn off the camera and things to see if I can hear with a bunch of stimulus going on. So I've got the washer going on intentionally and I got the dryer going on
Brilliant.
and
Brilliant.
I have
Brilliant.
everybody's picture up
Brilliant.
or video
Brilliant.
up and
Brilliant.
yeah, because I can do it better when there's not a lot and I just have to expand
Yeah.
that to
Yeah.
no matter where I am or what's going on externally, I can
Yes.
still
Yes.
hear.
Yes. uh, Location tuning of your ear.
Right.
This is a very powerful skill. And the ear is very sophisticated in this, and we use this in hearing. So it's very good to have multiple stimuli going on and to say, I'm deliberately tuning in this. And what the brain does, it then you start to hear only that and the rest goes away. It's an incredible skill, but we want to do that when we hearing also sometimes
Right.
to hear
I
in that particular way. Yeah.
I have that skill. I'm very focused and I can like nothing exists around me and then I can
Wow.
focus on work. But now I'm trying to take that skill, which
Yeah.
it took me a long time to practice that. And then apply it to the hearing concept.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
So we can put it into a dictionary of power term as context isolation.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, Bina?
I I never struggle to make my focus, but I do distract very easily. For me, if I'm focused and someone else is doing something, it just disturbs my whole concentration and I get confused. Really, big time.
Yeah.
Because
It's a good
I'm
skill
struggling.
to practice. It's good.
Yeah, because when Sil is typing a message and I'm saying something, we sometimes simply don't hear that, which is like really amazing for me. How a person cannot hear when he has this headset on his head, but this is his hyper focus ability. He can do this. I cannot do this. I am focused on. Yes, I can. I really get easily focused on something if I want to. But whenever something came, it is maybe a priority that I hear something and then I get distracted
Mm.
because I'm focused more on that. And it makes me a bit confused. The same kind of a confusion you say that like I have this on my pineal gland when someone get close to or something get close to this thing, or I get really confused in that. So this type of confusion, and I do get panic a bit, not like seriously, like oh I'm just overwhelmed or that. No, but just a bit confusion. Maybe
Me too,
because
Vina. Me too.
it is
That's why I'm practicing this. Like when Sil crinkles his bag of Oreos or something. Talk, I'm like, that's why I'm
So
intentionally
yeah,
doing this.
yeah, yeah. I have to set my headset. Um, yeah, I have to have original sound disabled, and then I use the headset's microphone rather than yeah. It's a weird fiddly thing. But when I use the headset on the computer, then I can get that maximum noise cancellation for background noise, which I don't quite have when I'm using it on
Riley,
the phone.
you have mama sock. You dropped that. He comes walking out really slow. Do. Looks back at me like, did she see? You're hilarious.
Ah, brilliant.
The second I
Ah,
said
brilliant.
drop it, he drops it. You're
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
good boy. And see,
I'm so
yeah.
Riley,
He just wants your attention and love.
all right.
Let's say
Well, he
hello to
was
Riley.
sleeping.
Hello, Riley. Hello, Riley, dog.
Riley.
Oh, Riley's still sleepy. Yes.
Yeah,
Hello,
he was
Riley. We're
sleeping.
saying hello to you.
Oh,
Hello. Hello, good dog. Hello, good dog. I'm glad you are Donna's companion, Riley. Really, really happy about that. It is quite a magical thing. It is quite a
Yeah,
magical thing.
what I'm trying to practice is like a intense focus, and also at the same time, you sort of, for me, I blur out. So it's like an
Yes,
intense focus and a blurring out all at once.
yes,
Woo.
yes. And
And I can do that,
this
but
one,
when
this,
there's like a bunch of stuff, then
yeah,
the blurring out gets confused, like Venus talking about.
yes. And the end point of that is we are going to have the intense focus, the blurring out, and we're going to maintain a connection to the surface
Right,
yeah.
all at the
Uh,
same time.
right.
there is something like, okay, because the more I focused on something, the more my mind is more focused on something, the more I get a bit confused when things came up. Like it is the intensity with that. Like right now, right before Donna, you came, so I was going through some slides, and I was, because my mind had set this intent that, oh, I need to go through that, and it was Sil was giving me that, Bina, this needs more focus, this need more emphasis, and here you have to go through to get the full comprehension. But because that my mind was so tuned to just go through all the slides once, I was distracting. I was
I feel bad now.
get dis-
I messed your rhythm up. Sorry, man.
no, it's not about that, but it is to understand that how mind and intent setting works, because my mind was so focused on that, like no, I just want to go through that, and it was not happening. That's why it was not from your side, of course, because this is the purpose of to do that, to go through and to try to comprehend all the details. But sometimes when we are super focused on that, every trivial, like tiny little thing become a distraction. It is something really peculiar. The more I'm focused, the more I'm sensitive to distraction.
Feel like, no, I
Interesting.
get that. Because when I first started this long time ago, I was in my 20s, and there was exercises I did for focusing. It's like your body sort of, well, mine, I can only speak for mine, of course. My body sort of was so like almost like a tense feeling to like train
Exactly.
it to focus. It was tense in the beginning. And then all of a sudden it became less tense and I could still reach that same focus. And then less, and then less, and then less tense. So then I could just get to the focus. And when I was less tense and I was like, it happened like almost automatically, but it took me a long time to practice it.
Mhm.
Then that blurring out became so much easier.
No,
But in
and
the beginning, like all I could do was like, first I got to get the focus down. My brain and my mind's got to get to that where I can instantly go, boom, I'm there. But it took me a long time. It was like, ooh, it tense. Okay, I'm there. Okay, looser, 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 looser. Okay. And then when I was at work, I could literally go through an exercise and all I have to do is go like that. And I
misconception of attention management.
Yes,
And it's a
exactly.
cool thing to do, and then um, there was a specific skill that came. It'll come back to me now. But yeah, so
Okay.
all we're talking about attention management, and we really want to be absolute wizards at attention management. And this is
Attention
one particular.
management for me is intent plus focus.
Right,
Mm.
right.
That's what I'm going to put in my dictionary power.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the
And
problem is that almost all the other participants, including Donna, Erica, and everyone, they are so much already into that. This is something, it was natural to me, but I never actually did any practice of this attention management specifically. That's why I'm missing that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I do, sweetheart. I do.
Yeah, it was just my way of getting familiar with the idea,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole idea.
yeah. No,
That's
I
it.
understand. Has to be coincide or go together with um, a
Right.
specific intent and an act of will. So we have to want what we want to be disciplined on. If we don't, then we aren't easily going together. Yeah, we have to
The
want what we
mind,
want.
body, soul connection.
Exactly, exactly. But it has to be that a desire to do it. And if we don't feel like we want it, then then we lose interest. Our interest is leveraged by our want, our desire, and then that leverages our discipline and our focus and our commitment to maintaining what we need to do. And also to when we drift off, come back. Drift off, we come back a little bit. So, but yeah, discipline is just that act of will. That's all it is, really. Yeah.
And then I would practice like you, because Bina's right, you have a strong ability to do that where you can hear and hold it. That's why I'm having a bunch of
Yeah.
stimuli
Yeah. Yeah.
to sort of fine tune it so that
Yeah.
I can learn to hold and I don't have to interrupt. I don't like that. When things
Yeah.
come through and I'm getting messages that I wouldn't otherwise, like I just feel like they're beyond me messages.
Ah,
When I have those, they don't, I'm unable at this moment in time to master, okay, got that. It relates to this part of what we're talking about. Put it off to the side, really hear from that point going forward without this being over here. Wait, you're going to forget. You're going to forget. And I know I can say, well, don't say you're going to forget, just say you're going to remember. So I'm trying to remember to say, I'll remember it and I'll be able to bring it back and then say it later. So just be quiet,
yeah.
power pause, hear what's going on, bring it back, and then say it. That's the other thing I'm
Yeah.
practicing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a powerful skill. And really, it's just a new skill that we learned, which is to train the brain to say, oh, this can be done. And that's it. Again, it takes a bit of attention discipline to do that, but it's such a useful skill, such a useful skill, because we believe we're not going to remember. There's no substance for it, none whatsoever. And also we go a little bit deeper. In attention management, we understand how the brain works, and different brains remember things differently. Where the stuff comes up in the original idea, that's not the place where it's remembered. So you can't just leave it there. If you want to remember it for later, you have to transfer it to a different place of the brain. Same thing with dreams, same thing with memories. All they come up in a different place of the brain, and you have to transfer them elsewhere in order to actually remember them. That's the key. And then, two, it was part of brains that they'll teach this for people who do those huge memory things. Associate something memorable with it, a mnemonic, a trick. Give it a label, give it a title, and okay, that's it. That's the whole subject. So you have to remember one thing, not the whole sentence. And the one thing needs to be something that is a self-telling story. That, oh, if I start with this, you're going to remember the rest. Yeah, like a story. Remember the name of the story, and it's easy to remember. Right?
When I worked on the project, the bank, Dave Timmons, there was a lot of training beyond just banking in the management program I went through. Yeah. And we learned a little bit about this. And when you worked on a project, you had to have the ability to literally listen to one person, direct another person, say, yeah, you need to do this on that, because your skills had to be that fast all the time when you were literally working on some aspects of the project. And then when you got into a banking center and you had tellers and customer service and things like that, and client or customers coming in, any environment really, especially on the project, our team was responsible for the entire project and we had to facilitate, I don't know, hundreds of teams. So that required that skill. And I remember thinking to myself and watching Mike Woody and Dave Timmons and Punky Lawson, that is a skill that really separated them from other people. Their ability to hear you completely while this was going on over here, saying just a moment, blah, 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 address that immediately, come back to you and really like hear what you were saying and then be like, oh, wait, excuse me a moment, I got a call. Okay, you need to start this part of the process and da-da-da needs to do. It's like, wow, that is a skill I want to master.
And on that attention management, it is really sometimes visualization. And for me, I like to visualize in terms of a graphic. And a graphic is that center column with the side path diversion. And I remember just that it. Okay, I'm on a side path and then I finish. It either loops me back or I have to retract, and that's it. Or I jump aside a little bit, literally make a jump to something and then I just come back. But if you have that visualization of the graphic, like the mind map, it's got those center lines running through it and you can go down and you go through the loop and so on. When you have this kind of visualization for distractions or diversions, digressions, detours, you know what they are. All of them are slightly different, right? And then you can always come back. You know what you're doing, but you have that visualization, and it's clear in your mind what you are doing, and that's the key. Know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. Have a nice overview. Have a pattern. Have a plan. It's very easy to stay focused then, despite disruptions, distractions. You know what you're doing. Yeah. What you thinking, Donna?
Power pause, just giving us a power pause. Let it all sink in. That was some powerful stuff we were talking about.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
Are we going to get started on
Absolutely.
hearing and helping?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What you just did there is a huge deal. This is something that I've mentioned before, and I do believe it's somewhere in way of impeccability. And this is to understand that simple things can be ridiculously life-changing, self-changing, soul-changing, spirit-changingly profound. This, I think that in general, if I look at people in general, just life in general, they don't realize, and they don't quite imprint upon themselves with appropriate profound emphasis how profound profoundness is in little things. It's a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. Very big deal. And that's what you just did there. When we recognize that and emphasize it and have that recognition and confirm it, double down on it, reinforce it, it changes us. It changes us. So much magic. Yes. Which slide are we on, Donna?
58.
Wow, 58. All right. I have to go.
Oh, I have it. I have it pulled up.
Oh, all right. Oh, you can share and you can move through them. That's fine. All good. Either way, doesn't matter. Bina, anything to add on what we were saying there about the attention management before we move on? Want to check.
Yeah, all. This is what I try to do, but actually still I want to go and discuss with you again and practice that specifically.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. All right, sweetness. All
And
right.
we will choose a random content for that. Because
Wow. Okay.
yeah, whenever something new or something valuable comes into my my vision, like oh, old habit of doing that in that particular way. So we will choose something like a nursery rhyme or something. You will not pay attention to that much, something like that.
Okay. 1 second. And before you get started, let me just.
Okay, and I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Let him know that we'll only have an hour today. Then we're going to be because of Cher's reading again. So, all right, all right. Screen share, please, Donna. There we go. Brilliant. Move this. Okay. All right. All right. While you read, I'll put some food. Make some food. I'm just warming up stuff, but instead of me reading, I can listen and do that at the same time. Yeah, I'm keen to hear what you say here about rhythm.
Well, the screen before, that was exactly my comment.
Mm. Oh, yeah. You know, Donna, this what you're doing. Like when you from the screen before to comment on the coming screen, that makes me very happy because you know you extrapolating. And Bina and I were just talking about extrapolating, right, Bina? In terms of capital D diplomacy, it's a powerful skill, and that just means we immersed appropriately in the subject matter because there is a follow on and a flow to things, and that just means that yeah, you're appropriately attuned to what's going on when you get the next slide from it. Very cool, Don. Very cool. Very gratifying actually too. Right? It means appropriate awareness is being aware. Or make a verb out of a word. All right. I'm listening, Donna. If you want to read or you want me to read.
It's going on its own.
Go into the edit then. Where are you? Yeah. Hold on. You know, if you get into the edit mode, then it won't play. It won't play the audio. Let's see.
I don't remember how to get to edit on my screen.
Because you're on Invento, not. Do you have an Apple or a PC? Because Apple, you can click. I don't see it here. You can turn off your audio, but then you won't hear us. So you have to go to slides to read it from your side without the audio.
Would it be okay if we just let the audio go and then discuss?
You mean actually listen to it? Sure, if you want to. Have the audio read, sure. The problem is the audio, it mutes you a little bit. So it seems, not that it matters, but sure.
Give it a try, and if not, we can do slides. Either or.
Yeah, sure. We don't hear the audio at all. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to. It'd be nice, but we don't hear it at all. Yeah, unfortunately. That's interesting. I wonder why we didn't hear it at all. Was it loud for you or soft?
I had it all away, and it, I could hear it, but it wasn't loud.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even faint for us. Well, I'm assuming
Go to
for Bina too,
slides.
right, Bina? Okay. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Oh yeah. This attention management, it comes about automatically through the application of capital H hearing, or at least to a large measure. Not entirely, but it is somewhat going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I have that in my notes somewhere. It most definitely does.
Yeah.
When you
Because we
really
shift our
focus.
agenda.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. And
Again, it comes back to what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? You know, in our typical interactions, we have lots of things going on. We have a point we want to make. We want to communicate something. We have something we want to understand. All of those are our things, which are legitimate and they need to be there because we are learning and growing. But in hearing, we set all that aside. That's not always easy, particularly for us, the three of us, to set aside our desire to learn and understand and acquire new information. That's difficult. Yes, Bina? To set aside our own personal legitimate agendas of learning and growing and understanding, you know, for ourselves, I mean, right? We have to set that aside sometimes when we're doing capital H hearing, right, Bina? Where'd you go,
Big
Bina?
time, big time, big time.
Yeah.
And it's what I was trying to practice with you to just get more command on that. It's
Oh,
just don't go in the content, in the
yeah.
comprehension, and just read it what is visually available to you, because I'm so much getting into that capital H hearing, so that
Yeah.
visual
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
is getting a bit on back burner.
Yeah. Were we practicing capital H, capital R reading earlier, Bina?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like us to read here, you know, you and me and Donna, because I do want to practice capital R reading a bit.
Mm.
Let's do that in addition today. And because in order to practice capital R reading, we need to hear ourselves. Yeah, Donna, I was saying I'm keen to practice a bit of capital R reading as well while we do these. It's just a good skill because you really do have to practice hearing yourself when you're doing capital H reading, right? You want to read, Donna? We can alternate in the reading if you like, or you just say it's up to you. If you want to read, me read, doesn't matter. Or Bina, either way.
just all read. We
Okay,
can
okay.
also hear rhythm in the greater sense of things. Sometimes also in the usual way. We use our innate sense of rhythm to hear pattern, which includes cadence, flow, continuity, balance, and so forth. All of these contribute to a coherency, which is part of making sense of matters. That making sense is what we are setting ourselves to hear. Coherency is typically within an immersion bubble, and thus we have to be constantly paying attention to context also, to hear in all contexts, to hear the pattern and rhythm beyond the immediate and local.
Wow, cool. What did you have on this? What did you have on this, Donna?
The rhythm automatically happens when you are in a sense of pulling yourself up and out and you've left everything at the door. It's to me, the rhythm is hearing the energy behind the words. And the coherency is combining the energy of the words, what they're not saying, how they're saying it, what their tone of voice is, and then adding in the visual to it. But that's sort of the last step for me. So that's what
Would you
came up.
say?
To be
Would you say?
present.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
That's okay. That was my last, to be present.
To be present. Would you say a rhythm reveals much implication?
Of more of what's not being said.
Exactly, in implication or thus.
Yep.
So some examples of rhythm is somebody speaking in a halting rhythm. There's an implication to that, right? Or if their rhythm is very staccato, very military, very potent like that, like a forceful rhythm or an aggressive rhythm. There's lots of implications that imply a mood, a tonality, which imply further an attitude, a stance, a mindset, a belief. Yes, we go all the way back.
Yes.
And the magic with rhythm is that it is seldom deliberate.
Right. That's why you're able to hear what's not being said, the implications of things.
And also, we tend to hear rhythm, a little h here. Sorry, I emphasized inappropriately there, but we tend to hear rhythm automatically. We are very attuned to rhythm, but we don't always put a deliberate interpretation or understanding or connectivity to that rhythm. Even if we don't know what the rhythm means, we might know or believe we know, but we don't want to put an association to it. But just being aware that there is some kind of a rhythm going on, or absence of rhythm, it's important. It's important. It's very revealing rhythm, in
It
other
is
words. Yeah.
very revealing. Yes. I felt as though when I feel the words, that has a lot to do with the rhythm. And I can't feel the words if I have an agenda. It blocks it somehow. And I don't know the dynamics of how all that works, but it just does. And when I am passionate about something, I know my rhythm is very fast and forceful. Anyway, I was just being
You're saying
aware.
you don't know how it works. There's probably a actual DNA or gene component to rhythm, in this that through most of our lives, our ancestry, writing was not part of it, and the way things were communicated was through oral communications, and those oral histories that people remembered, the poems and all the your legends and stuff like this, your family history, all was remembered because of cadence and rhythm. This is what made people remember stuff. So it's innate in us in some way, that rhythm, in order to recall, to connect, to resonate, to shift your attention. It's all part of it. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful mechanism.
But I always try to read things in different rhythms, with different, because I'm not specific to some. Even I deliberately practice to when people usually share their phone numbers, they have a particular rhythm attached to that. They can say it in a different way. But I deliberately choose to not make any association with the rhythm. Just remember the number, the different rhythms, and this is how I do that. But even in reading, I read many times, Donna, because I need to get comprehension. But always, every single time, the rhythm is different for me. I do that automatically again. Not.
Rhythm of writing is very different to speaking.
Yes.
Particularly natural organic speaking. Very, very different. It's a massive difference. Writers are looking to, at least if they're good writers, they're looking to construct a particular rhythm and do so deliberately in order to impart meaning and and extra meaning. They are doing what when somebody's just speaking naturally, or especially extemporaneously, just off the cuff, they're not consciously using rhythm to communicate. And this is where we get that extra insight. And if they are consciously doing it, it also gives us an insight, right? That's one extra factor. That's something being communicated that we're not necessarily consciously aware of. But once you pay attention to it, look, once you pay attention to it, you get more out of it, because we also have this not just from those oral histories, but also just our survival in the jungle was dependent on understanding rhythm. You walk through a jungle, there's a rhythm going on. When you hear that rhythm change, typically that's when a predator comes along, right? Or a fire or some disturbance, right? Changes the rhythm of things. And so we are finely attuned to rhythm. Our survival depended on it. So we can leverage that skill that we have, that ability, that genius really, because it's really, really a genius. We can leverage it to get more. We're very, very attuned to rhythm. It's very powerful. It's very cool. Hmm? I love this. Love this. Keep going, please, Donna. At your pace. Keep going. Love this. And loving my pasta too. Yum, yum, yum. Will you read, please, Bina?
The next practice interaction will be ones where you will set the intent ahead of time to comprehend and make sense, to sort, arrange, figure out, put together, unscramble, and otherwise do a whole bunch of things to understand. But, big but, you will also set the intent to let all of this awesome happen inside you by itself. Riley, excuse me a moment.
All right. I wonder what Riley was doing. Oh, Bina. Oh, Bina. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Mm-hmm.
I was okay. We were talking about that what ESP,
Mm-hmm.
and my today's memory on Facebook is of orange plate. I shared. I very rarely I share my food on Facebook and talk about that, but that was the same exact
What do you mean?
memory.
What do you mean your orange plate? Sorry.
Okay,
It's an
but I
ESP memory? Is that what you're saying?
no, it is on my Facebook memory, but we were discussing ESP. Like, oh, people say that, oh, I was talking about this and see this thing happened. So at the
Mm.
same day today, 2 year back, I was eating oranges and I shared that picture on
Oh.
Facebook.
Oh, you're saying it has absolutely nothing to do with ESP.
Of course, that, but people say that, oh,
Oh,
things are coming
oh.
back and they see exactly what's happening again. So that's what I was saying that.
Mm.
Somehow.
Well,
And
you're eating an orange today, and Mama drew attention to oranges today, so there's some connectivity.
again, she said, oh, today is the day to eat oranges.
All right, there you go. We can find connectivity between anything and anything. We can. It's a magical skill we have.
Okay. Just for my clarity, did you ask me or Donna to read that?
I did ask you, but it's okay. I mean, I'm happy. Donna, it's Donna's thing, so Donna read. Donna, that's fine.
But I was saying that, okay, this is Donna's thing and she's going to read that. But don't try to put me on, on.
I said that because Donna said we'll all read, so that's why I said okay, we'll just rotate through it, but and then it
No,
shifted. So yeah, so I
better,
just
better.
update with it. It's good. I update. I go with the flow, Bina. I go with the flow and paddle a little bit to keep in the flow,
Mhm.
right? Ah, that was good, Bina. That was good. That was good. I got the salt exactly right. That's the tricky thing for me. It's very precise, the amount of salt. Not always easy to get the salt just exactly right.
Oh.
I have a fine palate, Bina. I have a fine palate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
works for me. Works for me. Ah, that was so delicious, and it wasn't too much either. This is also good.
Mhm.
It was just the last of the pot. So
I'm still struggling with my smell and
wow,
sense.
your smell is still compromised.
Oh yes, big time.
Wow. I wonder if there are like smell exercises you can do, like when you are peeling the orange, to stick your nose right in the peel, or get some of the spray to squirt up in the nose, stuff like that, to overstimulate the nose a little bit. It's not so much the nose, because I seriously doubt if your actual nose is affected, but maybe, but to retrain the brain, maybe. You know what I mean, Bina?
Because what I observed that it is not my taste anymore, because the taste is just being compromised because of my sense of smell.
Correct,
Uh,
correct, correct.
but it is not about taste. It is just my smell sense is just not. It's still not working. So because I tried that.
Interesting. Interesting.
I was
When
okay.
you Google restoring sense of smell after COVID, what do you get?
Sorry, say it again.
Google restoring sense of smell after COVID. There may
Uh,
be, some tips and practices,
they're saying
or
that I guess the
maybe
suggestion was to get zinc supplement. Mm,
peppermint.
zinc supplement.
Zinc supplement. I take zinc supplement. I have a magnesium, zinc, and calcium all together. Actually, it's kind of handy. Yeah, because I needed the magnesium, and then okay, go where I get the zinc. So it's a
Uh,
bit of a preventative, apparently.
I was listening to Imagine Dragons Believer. I love their songs.
Hang on. The name of the group is what?
Imagine Dragons.
And the song is Believer.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
The, the,
okay.
the, the,
Play it,
perfect,
play it, so we can hear while we wait for Donna. Play the song, please, Peter.
the perfect one is Thunder. Oh my God. That is so, that is
Wow. Wow.
Thunder. But you play
Wow.
at your end because it always mess up audio
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
Ah,
All
Imagine
right.
Dragons, Thunder.
Okay. I like the name. Imagine Dragons. Very cool.
Oh, there's something.
You're pretty cool, Peter. You're pretty cool. You know that?
This
Cool
is
person.
my
Cool
favorite.
person. Donna too. Donna's very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I'm just kind of teasing if Donna was here. Oh, Donna is here. When you say, "Oh, Donna's cool," like you say to somebody else, and then you say, "Oh, I think so." By implication, well, others might not think so. It's like a roundabout, backhanded compliment. I'm just teasing Donna. But
She might be hearing us and then she will say, okay, sir, I was listening what you were saying.
yeah, yeah. I'm just being a jackass, right, Donna? I think Donna understands my teasing, my knucklehead
Okay,
teasing.
Donna,
Ah,
he's saying that when he was saying you cool, he was teasing you. It was
no,
not a,
no, no, not on the not on the cool part, on Bina. Oh, dang it! Now you really get me into trouble. I think you teasing me now. I'll just take it as teasing. I'll just take it as teasing. Dang it! Dang it! Get me in trouble here. Get me in trouble with Donna. Are we in trouble with Principal Donna? Oh, no trouble with Principal Donna, please. Uh, what you eating, Donna? What you eating? I always got to know what you're eating.
Granola bar.
Raisins?
Granola
Donna.
bar.
Then yeah.
Granola bar.
Oh, granola bar.
Oh, Donna, did you like that song?
I like that song. I'm very
That
familiar. We did a jazzercise routine to it. It was one of my favorite routines.
Wow.
Wow. Can we see? Can you show
Nope.
us?
Nah.
Nope.
You gotta help me, Bina. You gotta help me. You gotta also suggest this subtly. Oh, let's see it, Donna. Like maybe one day we'll get treated. I'm
I
keen to
can hear
see.
the song.
Yeah. I'm just keen to see Donna dance. I think it would be just most splendorous, and yeah, I'm almost tempted to drive out to Oklahoma and come to a class just for that.
Oklahoma? Was there
Ah,
classes in Oklahoma?
Ohio. Them one of them O
You'd
states.
be driving somewhere, but I wouldn't be there if you're going to Oklahoma.
One of those O states. One of those O states.
Kay is there. Yeah. Kay is in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Eric and Jane. They live fairly close in the two cities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Imagine Dragons. All right, keep going, please, Donna. Can't hear you.
Well, the thing that came up to me is this slide just brought it all together, and basically that's what you're doing is and it's presenting itself in the external of experience. How does I didn't really have anything about that. Write out in detail what you proved to yourself and for yourself in the preceding exercises. What do you feel confident about doing? What do you not feel confident about doing?
Are we on the talk? The
Um,
next practice.
the
Sorry, I
whole
want to just read it for myself. The task, because I need to concentrate on these tasks sometimes. You know, the content is different to the tasks for me. So if you don't mind, I'll just read through it as well. Yeah. The next practice interactions will be ones where you will set the intent ahead of time to comprehend and make sense, to sort, arrange, figure out, put together, unscramble, and otherwise do a whole bunch of things to understand. But, big but, you will also set the intent to let all of this also happen inside you by itself. Oh. Further, set an additional intent to be patient and wait for understanding to come to the surface when ready. How does capital T timing come into all this? Share in detail what happened. All right. I'm listening. I had to just get a grasp of what it is that you're going to respond to. Yeah, it makes a big difference for me.
I did this with a situation, of course, with my boss, which by the way, he called me. What is it that you call me when you're kidding? Like corporal or captain or whatever?
Oh, Sergeant, Detective Sergeant.
He called me this a sergeant. And I'm like,
Wow. Interesting. Did he at least say Sergeant Major or just Sergeant?
he used two words. I can't remember, but I know
Yeah.
sergeant
So
was in there.
probably Sergeant Major then. Yeah. Well, the
Okay.
ranks go like this: you get private, corporal, and then you get sergeant, and then typically you get something like staff sergeant, and then you get a whole bunch of sergeant majors, and they're different sergeant majors for different things. Sergeant major of this, sergeant major of that. So.
Well, we were in a staff meeting and I was reviewing things and things that we were doing well and things that we all could, including myself. I always put myself in the front of the list on things that I'm bringing up, and I'll say, you know, how it was brought to my attention about myself, because I mean that's, you know, I don't ever.
Yeah.
There's always learning to do, and that's my focus is for all of us to learn and do better and be better and expand. And so I try to balance it out with what things are going well that we've implemented and what still has opportunity for growth, as I say. And he laughed. He goes, "Oh, here's our opportunity for growth moments from Sergeant Major Donna."
Well, he probably said drill sergeant. I'm guessing.
No, it wasn't drill
What?
sergeant.
Oh, good then. All right.
And
Interesting.
then and then I said, you know, you set the tone for something because a lot of what he says doesn't carry much weight because he doesn't necessarily do it himself. And so I was picking out something that he did do. And I said, it's really important because, you know, Rick, as you know, you set the tone and you're really good at, and, you know, you're the one leading the troops. That's how it came out. You're the one leading the troops. And then he laughed and he goes, everybody in this room knows who's really leading the troops. Sergeant or Donna or something like that. The title was exactly what you said. So I think it was Sergeant Major. And I laughed to myself.
I say detective sergeant, which is a little different, but yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
When that stuff comes up, I'm like, have you been talking to Sil? Do you really know? How did you use that?
Yeah, I love it. I was just saying to Bina before, we are such geniuses at association and connection. We can connect anything to anything. And yes, it is powerful. But I also, just for my own edification, I try to pay attention to the things that get said that are not connected. You know what I mean? We recognize the things that do connect, but we tend to just ignore those that don't connect. And there's plenty of those too. So just my science side. It's fun. It's fun to see the connections. That's very cool. Yeah, it's very cool. So yeah. Well, the problem is with being a sergeant when you have troops that don't follow orders. Then what? Then you got to toss them in the brig. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they said that, you know what? Military discipline is the core of all militaries.
Well, it got to, we were talking about the offices and the efficiency, and what I had to do is give myself license in the group. And by saying, now, my takeaway from our conversation a year ago when I took on this role, Rick, was as office manager, I was to look at efficiencies and offer suggestions and discuss processes. And that's how I set up the conversation. And I said, is that correct? So that he literally had to say it in front of the group or share with me where I'm off. And I realized that, wow, what if I'm off on this? You know, I feel as though my takeaway from our conversation a year ago when I became office manager was clear, but what if I'm like totally wrong? So this was one of the exercises. I'm like, okay, deliberately, you know, set aside to understand what your role is here and what he wants from you in that role, and set aside any predetermined assumptions that you heard right a year ago, or that you know, what you perceive as an office manager role. And in a business setting, it's an innate role that whether I have it with title or not, my being just feels comfortable in that role automatically. As far as collaborating, bringing a team together, sharing a vision, working towards an end result, all of that, sharing and collaborating and getting things done. But is that what he wanted? Not just because it comes by default, or was the intent was to, my boss wants as an office manager in that when he isn't able to prepare in advance. So one, I found it challenging to not let my preconceived notion override what I was hearing. And it was really challenging for me to be open to what he was going to say, because basically my entire year was premised on my understanding of what he wanted me to do in the office. And what if I was wrong, right? I wasted a whole year thinking I knew what I was doing and it was pleasing him. And then I come to find out that's not at all what he wanted me to do. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kept like
Wow.
being like, I even had this thought, dang, I hope I was right on this. Otherwise I wasted a whole year,
It's
right?
never wasted. It's never wasted.
I
It's
know,
never
but
wasted.
as far as what I was doing there,
So
as far as
what
my
did he have to
intent for
say?
the entire year,
Yeah, what did he have to say about that?
um, he confirmed. He said, "You're absolutely spot on." It's one of his favorite
Oh,
things to say. You're spot on. You're very good at processes and efficiencies and making sure that the office is running smoothly and the clients are being served, which is very important to me.
wow.
And when it's not, and when they're not, putting things in place, whether we like it or not. And, I know that I need to. And then he started out with what he needed to do. So that was good because that was kind of a layered intent in how I set up the conversation. And that goes back to, it was a little manipulating, felt like it, because I wanted him to confirm and then take ownership on his end about what he was going to do, and everybody in the room, including myself, to do the same. So it was kind of, I set it out. I had a hard time hearing and not having my own agenda. And I wanted a result, so I had an intent. But then as I was going through it, I felt like I was being a little manipulative because I knew, I know Rick, that if I set something out, he was going to bring it back to himself because that's
Yeah.
generally what he does. So
Brilliant.
I
Oh,
tried to,
let's hear this. Let's hear. I love it. Ethical strategy. Right, but
well,
let's hear.
I didn't feel like it was very ethical. I felt like I was being a little
Oh,
manipulative. But anyway, um,
but
so
was it
the
appropriate?
timing,
But was it appropriate?
it was at that point because
Exactly.
this
Exactly.
was an
Exactly.
ongoing situation that needed to be addressed, and it wasn't in client satisfaction, and it wasn't being taken seriously, and I needed to come up with a new strategy to get it done. So even still, after all of that, we talked about what my role was, and we did it in the staff meeting, and everybody was there, and we determined, it wasn't about, I'm not sure why he said that, because it wasn't about, well, everyone here knows who's really the boss of this group.
Mm.
It wasn't about that. It was more about building a team. So when he says stuff like that, it sort of,
Yeah.
it pulls us back into that. And then I talked about the difference between helping and assisting, and how it was important that we all were aware of the difference and that we worked as a team. So we talked a little bit about that. And then I ended with my agenda. So this was the timing aspect. I tried to take in consideration where we were in the year. It was the beginning of the year and a fresh start. And I took advantage of that. And then I gave a specific timeline. The next Friday, I'm going to go and I'm going to audit everybody's areas, including my own.
Wow! Listen to that wording there, Donna, Abina. Do you hear the capital diplomacy in that word? I'm going to audit everyone's space. Genius. Genius. Capital diplomacy in action, just through terminology, labeling. Right, Donna?
Yeah. Yep. It took me a bit to figure out how do I do the last piece to make sure it gets done. Yeah.
I just love this. I just love this word to audit your space.
So
It's
Jake
fantastic.
started doing his space yesterday, and Angel goes in and she's like, "Jake, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm getting my space in order." And then Angel turns to me because my office is right now. "When's our audit?" And I said, "It's tomorrow." And he was like, "What? No, it's not till next Friday."
Brilliant. When's our audit? But you see,
Yeah.
it's incredible, incredible, incredible. The power of labeling. Unbelievable power. It's one of those profound, 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 super teeny little things. Just by changing a label, we can change the whole world. It's amazing. It's amazing. It really is amazing. It's truly a power, something to be really acutely aware of. It's not working, change the label. It's really as simple as that sometimes. It's astonishing. Look now, the audit they can get on board with, but tidy up your space? No. Organize your space? No. It's amazing. It's amazing. Isn't it, Bina? I'm keen to hear just to commentary on this, if this is connecting with you, Bina.
Always interesting. And this thing is, this, yeah, really, it is not about still saying that and using this word. I'm just saying that really it is always interesting.
Yeah,
But
it's
we go more nuance, and
exactly,
then
exactly,
we go
exactly.
more.
Right. And I
Who
mean,
can?
for my capital, oh, sorry, go, sorry.
I was just saying that who can imagine that this things turn out in that way? Like,
Exactly, exactly. But for me, with my capital H hearing, when you say that word audit, you might as well be dropping a bucket of cold water over me. It's like, wake up! It's like, wow, brilliant, awesome. It just is so, it's just glaring there, the awesome power of that and the implications involved. Absolutely fantastic. And
uh,
I want to use this just to make a quick point. Hold the point, please, Bina.
yes,
That
yes.
this understanding of, just for instance, changing of labeling. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Donna had a particular problem that she was kind of stuck at, and it needed to be done. There wasn't anything she can change about either the end result or the essential methodology of how it's done. There's very little leeway there. So again, just because there's a stuckness, we have to use this example to put in our minds the understanding that, wait a second, just because I'm stuck doesn't mean there's a big shift needed. Sometimes it's a tiny little shift just of conception, perception, labeling, understanding, communication, capital diplomacy, whatever, timing, even sometimes as well. But little shifts can resolve the problem. And when we just remember these little shifts like this, next time we get stuck, we say, wait, this is not the end of the world. Sometimes it's just a small tweak that's needed. We start looking for those, and voila, life is easy. Of course, occasionally it's a big thing, but mostly small things. Yeah. For me, as the point to remember here, the abstract learning point. Little things sometimes. Don't worry if you get stuck. Just look for the little thing to tweak it, and there you go. Right, Donna?
Yes, I had tried an approach of sort of saying we really need to look at our work areas and just kind of present it out there that somebody would take that and take the initiative and run with it, and that didn't work. That didn't work with the
Yeah,
type of people that I'm working with. And the other thing that I did deliberately was when I was really concentrating on rhythm and my tone of voice and my posture. And so I literally looked at them all when I was talking about the audit, and this is where the sergeant major comes in, I guess, but I literally leaned in and deepened my voice and looked at him all in the eye and said, the audit will be Friday. Not this Friday. I'm giving you a whole week, and I will audit everybody's area, including my own.
Yes, yes. In other words, you leveraged earnestness, and particularly you leveraged sobriety. Right?
Rick sees that as drill
You
sergeant, I'm sure.
right, but you leverage sobriety, and this is important. Sometimes people want a drill sergeant, they want a sergeant major, because it takes the burden off them. They get that, okay, and I have to do it. It gives them a rationale to do what otherwise they balk at doing, they resist doing. It's amazing. It's
Well, I
amazing how
talked
people
to
run.
Rick about this point. Let me throw this out to you guys. Okay, so we were talking about character and how certain things speak about a person's character. And I said, I personally don't understand how you can go in, we've talked about this before, and use the last of the toilet paper roll and not replace it, for example.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah,
a character issue.
yeah.
Or seeing that there's no coffee left and not making new coffee, or seeing there's
Right.
dishes in the sink and everybody's busy and just doing them. It's like initiative and seeing beyond what's right there. And
Consideration.
so I felt like that was a character thing. Rick he didn't have that shared perspective. So then I sat back and I was like, well, help me understand what another perspective would be on that, because I'm literally stuck in the I can't see it any other way. It just seems so obvious to me, but please share another perspective that I can look at so I can make sense of that. And he said that other people would feel like it was a waste of time doing the toilet paper, that their focus is internal versus external. And do you help me understand that perspective? Because I was, when he said it, I was like,
so say again what he said. Let me grab it again.
He said that some people would perceive that as a waste of time to replace the toilet paper. Their whole not perspective, their whole, forget the word he used, focus, I think, is internal and not external. So they only see like what's right in front of them.
Yeah, well,
So could
it's
that
not.
perspective be they're internal and they're very present?
No, it just means that they're in a very tight, narrow, self-centered bubble. That's all. He's not expressing really a perspective on it. He's more expressing an understanding of the psychology involved.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a different thing. He's not giving you an alternative perspective to the validity of yours. He's just saying why it's so. It doesn't change your perspective that this would be preferable to do, because it's just consideration and offers politeness. You don't irritate and annoy your fellow co-workers. But for people in bubbles, then you must just have this system to say, fine, if I'm the last one using the last one, I leave it also.
Well, that's what I do now.
Okay. And it have to be uniform, which at the end of the day means when it comes to the toilet roll specifically, it balances out. Everybody gets to evenly replace the toilet roll or make the new coffee, right?
Okay. Well, in the scheme of things, he said that was like petty, that people's perception would be that's so petty. And I said, well, if you looked at it individually, I get that. But if you look at it from a broader perspective and it's one of many that impacts the entire office, then you view it from a different view. And that's how I view it. And I didn't know if that was just and I'm open to be like, you want to say I'm like being petty or it's narrow and it doesn't matter in the scheme of things. Then I felt like when I didn't replace, I literally had to make myself not replace that toilet paper roll.
It's hard. It's hard. Now, in the toilet paper roll, it doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference unless the toilet paper roll is not right there handy.
Well, it's not. It's in a cabinet, and we put it on top of the toilet so that clients always know, because if you use the last, the client's not going to know to look in that cabinet.
Yeah. All right. Let me channel Donna here, and you can be Rick here now, and say, all right, Rick, there's a different perspective on this. It is about efficiency, which you charge me to do, and it is about office morale, which from what I understand, is also part of efficiency, right? If you've got a low morale office, you're going to have poor efficiency, right? And especially if you have resentments in the office. What happens, Rick, when you in a meeting with a client and you really are like, you got to go, but you can't go because the client, and they hold you up, and eventually, okay, thank heavens, and you rush off to the toilet and you go, and the next thing you say, blah, I won't swear here now, but you curse a long stream there, and you say, bloody hell, who didn't replace the toilet paper? See, there's an efficiency to this. So if you replace it when it's finished, should somebody come and they're in a pressure and they have to go quickly where they don't have the time to replace it, or if they did, it's a stress. This makes for efficiency. Same thing with coffee. Yes, we're all going to end up replacing the toilet paper equal number of times, and we're all going to end up making the coffee. But when do you want the coffee? When you really feel like the coffee, do you want it immediately, or do you want to wait for the coffee to be made?
The coffee is for the clients too.
Oh, okay. And well, same thing. Same thing for the clients. Do you want the coffee available for your clients right away, or do you want your clients to wait? So when we train everybody to get into the habit of when the coffee's the last one to the coffee, you make the new pot. This means we always have coffee available for the clients, more efficient. So this is a consideration and an efficiency issue and a morale issue. And you also now you are doing your part. You are not saying, "Hey, well, to hell with this. Somebody else can fill in for me." That's the part that's not cool. When you don't do it, you are forcing somebody else to do it on your behalf, and that's not cool. And those that do it, they resent doing it on behalf of somebody else. Right? Not good for office morale. Does that make an argument for this? Is it still petty, Rick? It's not petty at all. It's a big
Well,
deal.
in my little,
Little things,
in my,
little things get
well,
under
in
people's
my
skin.
mind, it all connects to the end result
Yeah.
is not efficiency for efficiency's sake, even. It's efficiency for
Exactly.
serving the client. And all of this
Not
abstracts the
exactly.
clients too. And
Exactly.
I don't care
Exactly.
what Jake's office looks like. I really don't.
Right. Right.
And
But it affects the
pettiness to
client.
me would
Right.
be your office doesn't look like my office. And I don't feel that at all.
No.
I couldn't care
No.
less. However,
Right.
your office, the way it is, impacts your ability to serve your clients.
Correct.
I've been asked to make sure that we have efficiencies in the office, and that particular office is not in any way, shape, or
Exactly.
form efficient.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
when
Not only,
that
yeah.
says that I'm like, when he in that situation says I'm only looking at it from like the toilet paper roll and that's petty, here's where I don't really care if people think it's petty. I really
Right.
don't.
Right.
I
Right. But
I
point
feel
out to
like
him. Yeah.
I feel like you asked me to do something, but I also know about myself that I can get in a bubble of, well, this is the way I see it.
Yeah.
And but if that's why I asked him literally, like if you
Trust
can
yourself.
if you
Yeah.
can, I don't doubt myself, but if you can bring me a perspective to consider, I know that sometimes I can get in a little bit of a self-righteous bubble. I know that about myself. I'm aware of that.
You used
That
to.
there's-
You used to. I don't think that happens anymore. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I know when I'm like that. It's still there. So I
Wow.
and I'm aware of it. But anyway, so that was that related to this. This was my exercise for this. Timing with
Yeah.
you know, what did it prove? It
Yeah.
proved to myself that I really I had a challenging time with the outcome, thinking to myself, well, what if my perspective of my role in that office for the last year has been totally off? And I kept thinking that, and I kept, okay, just hear what he's saying, just hear the words. And then I'd hear this little voice, oh my gosh, what if you were wrong? No, hear what he's saying. So, it was,
So if we take this and we just rewind it in a little bit to kind of invert it to say this point about the toilet paper and the coffee, it's not about the toilet paper and the coffee. It is about a mindset and a mood.
yes.
And it's about a general office psychology, one which is a team and a considerate team, where team members aren't palming off their responsibilities onto others. Teamwork. Also, it does make for extra efficiency. Is that the same toilet as the clients use if they do have to use the
Yes,
toilet?
it is.
So
Yes.
it's like, just said it to Rick, what happens if one of your best clients has to go in and they don't look at the toilet paper and they need it, and then now they have to get up and go and replace the toilet paper? Come on, you've lost a client, potentially.
They don't even know where the toilet paper is because it's in a closed
Exactly, that's my
cabinet.
point. Exactly. So them not having the toilet paper, it's you potentially losing a client over a simple, stupid little thing that's preventable. Not on my watch. Sorry. It may be petty, but I'm not losing clients over something like this because people are simply just sloppy and uncaring. Nope, 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 nope. We need to get that out of the system. It's important. It's a big deal. It's a general mindset. It's a mindset of looking ahead, looking at bigger picture. It's a mindset of being considerate. It's a mindset of teamwork. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. Yeah. So again, all I'm saying is here is to not on the point itself, but to communicate the abstract importance, the bigger picture importance of this, and let go. Say it's not about the small things. It's the bigger picture. Think bigger picture. Think clients. Think money. This is about making you money. Yes, it's a small thing, but if you take it into totality, it's about making you money or not losing your money. Yeah. I'm looking out for your best interests, big picture. If you don't see it, trust me on it. That's it. Orders. Right? If the troops can't see it, too bad. They just got to learn to live with it. That's it. If they
You
don't want to
don't
see
like
the
it?
bigger
Don't
picture
put.
logic, too bad. Yeah. Say again, Donna?
You don't like it? Don't put me in charge.
Exactly,
Just kidding.
exactly. But
Not
but
kidding.
yeah, but you can communicate to say, look, I'm not being petty. There is a bigger picture logic to this. This does affect
I
time.
did communicate that to him, and I tried to shift how he was viewing it, because for whatever reason he just, his office is still a mess, and it's been 7 years, and it's just like, and he
Well,
literally will express, I'm overwhelmed.
yeah, 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 yeah. So maybe you need to get together with him and say, look, okay, audit's coming up. This is really important. So I'm more than willing to pitch in, and I'll enlist agent as well, and we can do this as a team project to get your office up to shape for the audit. Maybe that'll help him. Who knows?
Yeah, again, it's not really even whether he'll do it or not that intrigues me. It's the psychology behind it,
Yeah,
and trying to
yeah, yeah.
hear what he's saying and trying to use these skills to see the bigger
Ah,
picture of this. It's just
can
very
he?
intriguing to me.
Yeah. Could he be objecting? Because if he remedies something that is outstanding and it's gross and it needs to have been corrected years and years ago, by remedying it, he's acknowledging that it is not as it should be.
Well, I feel that all the time. Yeah.
I know, but he doesn't necessarily want to acknowledge that he's been in error. By remedying it, this is an acknowledgement that it's an error. See, in his mind.
What is growth but acknowledging that there's something that could be done better or
Some people don't want
be
to be
improved?
wrong about stuff.
It's not wrong. It's just expanding and growing.
In his mind, not yours. You wanted to capital H yeah, what's going on with him. In
Oh,
his mind, this may be the issue. He sees it as an acknowledgement of his failure, all sorts of failures. That office represents a lot more. That office gives him an excuse to stay late, which is a representation of his marriage, which he feels has probably failed in some way.
yeah, it's all
So
connected for sure.
yeah, yeah. Also, if you present it as a remedy of the situation or to change, say, and it was just subtly to say, hey, Rick, what about arranging your office differently? Not tidying it, but arranging it differently. You know it's going to end up in the same thing. I say maybe try a different arrangement in your office. Like in other words, a more organized mess. Oh, okay. Now it's not an acknowledgement that it was wrong before. Now it's just an upgrade, an improvement, a tweak. Simple, idiotic psychology sometimes. It seems so childish, but it makes a difference for the inner bureaucrats that are balking, they're putting the resistance in it. They sometimes can object on the most trivial and idiotic of grounds, but give them a little out and they grab it, they take it. So we aren't going to tidy your office, we're going to rearrange it. Big difference.
Well,
Yeah.
my inner bureaucrats didn't feel as though the results, people weren't doing what I wanted them to do. So Miss
That's the
C
inner
could,
dictator, not the inner bureaucrats. That's the
right.
different aspect. But
Wait,
hey, sometimes you just got to lay down the law and insist, and
no.
that's the end of story.
Well, so I didn't really recognize this until you just said it. All right, confession time here. So I rearranged my office because I think I did it. I feel like it feels like Miss C, control person, inner bureaucrat aspect of myself, was not feeling as though I had control because nobody was doing what I wanted them to do. So what I did have control over was to rearrange my office. So that must have appeased that aspect of myself. Well, you guys
Yeah.
aren't going to do it, so I'll at least do my own and
Yeah.
get myself organized. And I did, and I took all my, 2020, and I boxed it
Yeah,
up and
but
got
it's your
my
to
office
me,
organized.
it's your impeccability coming into play. If you're giving authority and you are now exercising that authority, which means to some extent giving orders, and people do not follow those, that means that they're not following, which is essentially they're not respecting the orders, and that makes a poor use of your energy. If I'm going to be put in charge to do something and I do it and nothing happens, well, this is just a waste of time now and energy. I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm figuring it out, I'm paying attention to it. Then don't give me this job. Then I'm not going to do it. Why? Because it's just a waste of time and energy. So your impeccability says this has to change. Either the job has to change or the response has to change. They cannot coexist like this. Yeah. So it's
I
an
had that
energy
exact
efficiency issue.
conversation with Rick on Thursday.
And what do
Yep.
you say?
It was about a different topic, but it was a full illustration of when exactly what you said. If I'm offering ideas and we're collaborating and we're sharing, and we come to the end of that sharing and we have a group direction and decision and we're not implementing, that's a problem to me. And he was like, well, we need to make sure we're logging our time. And that was a perfect example. And you admittedly are the one that does it the best. And I said, well, I've stopped doing it. Have you even noticed? And he's like, well, I have noticed the last few weeks. And I said, it has to do with energy efficiency. And when I look at being potent at work, I look at what is the best use of my energy. And for 2.5 years now, you've been saying in our staff meetings that everybody needs to log their time, and nobody in the office, including you, have been doing it. And so when I look at the energy it takes to focus. And every time you go in to work on a client's file, you're going into the computer and you're setting the clock. And there's an energy and a time to it. And
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
and then you said you were going to use it to analyze how much we should charge for our services. And that's never taken place. So when those things change, then when I look at my day and I look at energy management, that decision of where that fits into my day will change. But right now, it doesn't feel for me, it's a very good use of my energy. And that is the reason why.
Mm, mm, mm.
He had nothing to say to that because it was very true and he knew it.
Yeah, yeah. I have a suggestion for you, Donna. Hold on. Hey, why is this not clicking? Am I screen sharing? I am. What's going on here? Oh, oh, oh. Are we doing your screen share? Yeah, we're on your screen share. All right,
Need
never
to
mind.
stop sharing?
No, 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 no. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to type something out so you can see it visually. But I suggest getting one of those little nameplates and on your desk. But it says, "I take my job very seriously." Very emphasized because you do.
Maybe I take it too seriously.
No, but it's good. This is. But if people understand this about you, that you take your job very seriously, and it's right there on your desk, maybe just make that subtle difference. No, I don't think they really comprehend this, Bina Donna, because they don't think that way. To them, it's not such a serious. They don't have your level of impeccability and your level of sobriety, and that inner integrity and ethics, which says, "But I'm being paid for this. How can I not take it seriously?" You can maybe even make that as the quote. I'm being paid for this. How can I not take it seriously? They don't get it. They don't get it because they don't share your same sense of ethics and integrity.
Well, I will say that my ethics and my integrity is less than it could be in that environment for sure, because even I spend a considerable amount of
Why?
time
Why?
doing Facebook and Way of Impeccability and other things that I wouldn't normally do because I'm in that environment. And even like not placing the toilet paper roll, that wasn't a defiant, it would have been years ago. It wasn't a defiant, it was a mechanism to illustrate to the person who consistently doesn't do it the impact and how there's a bigger picture to this. Because if I keep doing it, I feel like I'm just enabling the situation to continue.
Donna, Next time you don't do that, leave the paper. Take the paper out of the cabinet and put it somewhere else.
to make to make the
Make the
point even
point.
clearer.
Be a bit naughty. And
I do feel it's a wonderful environment for me to practice capital P patience. It really is, because
yeah, yeah.
I'm in an environment that couldn't be any more different. The way I come at things is so different. It's not right. They're not wrong. It's just different. And it's really good for me, because I want to say that their way is wrong. And I really have to step back all the time and pull myself up and say, okay, in the big picture, does this matter? Or is this Miss C aspect coming out that just wants to be a dictator and take, it really is. It's a good environment for me to practice a lot of things, really. And that's why I'm there still.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic. I have a suggestion for you potentially. Maybe not for now, but at some point in time. Maybe. I don't know. Just potentially, take it or leave it for whatever it's worth. Dave Timmons, Robert Stark, Punky Lawson, etc., etc. All of those. Send them all an email and say, what do you have available in your organization that you are looking to fill? And then say, regardless, don't go by what you remember to me. I'm a profoundly different person. Maybe I now, the person that I am, can fulfill that role. And see what they need. What do you need? What do you want in your organization? Both need and want. And then they might come up with this and say, hey, I can do this. I'm a different person now. And I'm not saying this lightly, and then you can articulate why you feel you can do it. I'll just saying, just opening a door, just opening a door. All of them, from what you've said, saw your moreness.
Right.
And you can even add in that letter, what you saw in me, I'm now in contact with myself. I'm starting to see and actualize and apply and activate. I'm a different person now. Same but different. I just see what comes. You never know. You never know. It just opens up doors. Boy, every time I hear you talk, I say, what a waste you are in terms of just your magic and what you do and how you share. It's like, man, furthermore, I feel that you are wasted as an employee, full stop. You either need to be in a executive position, or as a partner of some kind, or your own business. Seriously. That's just my perspective on things. But or if you are in an employee circumstance where somebody says, hey, all right, this is my business, but you do it and I'll leave it up to you. And they leave it up to you. And then you obviously come to them when you need help, and like those perspective checks and, okay, I'm in a bubble, check me out, whatever, that kind of a thing. It's a collaboration. You need to be working as a collaboration. Because man, oh
It's hard
man,
to work as a
it's just awesome.
collaboration with somebody who's
Yeah,
quote unquote boss, who has
yeah,
no idea where you're coming from.
exactly,
You
exactly,
can't really collaborate.
exactly, exactly. And it's soul stealing. It's soul stealing. It's soul stealing. That's the part.
And I don't know
That's the
what my
part.
soul's purpose is. I've been
Yeah,
talking to
yeah.
me about that.
And that's why I'm recommending sending out those letters, or at least one of the reasons. Not only for potentially the direct exact benefit, but when they come up with it, you're going to say no, 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 no. So sometimes we find our purpose by eliminating what's not our purpose. And that's huge. You don't know until you're in that position to actually make a decision.
When did you know
You see?
what your soul's purpose was?
Wow, that assumes I do know.
Let's assume there's implications there.
What's that?
There's implications there. Yes, it does assume that.
I never thought of things that way. I just do what's appropriate. So I don't know. When that specifically came to living in attunement, uh, as a conscious, deliberate thing, there was some time before gift of intent. In that story, the young man is thinking things through. So it was before that. I don't know how long I thought it through to the very end, but the culmination of that thinking led to the gift of intent story where I said, I got to do this differently. This is not working. And then the purpose becomes living in attunement from then on. And whatever comes,
You
it's
know
there.
that living in attunement and what you're actually doing on a daily basis as far as your life and what you get up in the morning and what you're doing is your soul's purpose. You know that
No,
by
I have
living.
no idea. As far as I know, as best my guess is, I'm in attunement, but I know it's a variable. So I just have to. It's a big concept for me. One of my personal power conceptions: having to believe. We have to believe sometimes, whether we know for sure or not. I have to believe. Why? Because I have to believe it's my purpose. If I don't, I'm lost. It may or may not be, I don't know, but I have to believe it is. And since I then choose, in other words, to believe it is, it makes it my purpose, and then I'm carrying on as if it were my purpose. Life is easy, works for me. I don't think there's an inherent purpose necessarily. There may or may not be, but as long as you feel like you are living according to your purpose, you're all good, or at least primarily. I trust that if I'm not in some way on the path to, if there is a predetermined purpose, that life will certainly end up pushing me in that direction at some point. So, all right, right.
Tina, how about you? Tina, are you there?
Yes, I'm looking. Okay. So question is very, very big to answer at what soul purpose is, because I don't know. I feel that this whole definition of soul purpose is a bit I do enjoy what I do. Okay, this is not my okay. I'm doing something which I'm enjoying because I feel that I'm getting value out of it. So it's a kind of a personal purpose involved in that. But soul purpose, I think it is more connected towards the humanity itself, and I don't feel that I have any idea about that right now. But again, as far as I can think now, the only way to understand your soul purpose is to satisfy your personal purpose in life. And if you still feel that hunger, that you are not doing enough, you are not getting enough, you're not enough, then it means that you need to concentrate more on. And then might be possibly I get idea that my sole purpose is something else. So right now I'm feeling that in my capacity I'm unsatisfied. So let's see.
Um, to answer your question another way, and I suspect maybe it will also do so for Venus somewhat. It is that as far as I can see, my sole purpose is to develop and enhance my awareness.
It is somehow a bit personal also. I feel that.
That's what I feel, Donna. So whatever I'm doing, as long as it's enhancing and developing my awareness, there you go. So as long as what I'm doing is appropriate in that context, it's fulfilling my soul's purpose. What is the most ideal way of doing that? Well, I think what we're doing now is a pretty good way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go back one. Sorry, we didn't do the second thing, but also how the timing comes into it. So if we look at that task there, and you set that intent to practice hearing, and you are going to be comprehending, making sense, sorting, arranging, figuring out, putting together, unscrambling, and all of those things. But you will also set the intent to let the awesome happen inside you by itself. So I'm assuming this is what's going on when you set your hearing and you set the intent for all of this stuff to happen. You trusting that it's coming, and you make that silent space, and it just comes. It just comes. You get the comprehension. It makes sense. Oh, it automatically sorts. It arranges itself. You figure it out. You put it together. You unscramble. All happens automatically by itself inside you. Yes, and the
That's correct.
timing and the timing part. How does the timing come? It's kind of a direct question, a little bit. You just have to wait a little bit to let it happen. Sometimes it comes quickly. Sometimes it takes longer. That's it. It's not instantaneous. It happens, but you trust the timing that it will come. Yeah.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
absolutely my experience. Hmm.
Ah,
And
brilliant.
if
All
I
right.
try to bring it all together, if I try to do it, the
Uh-huh.
lack of clarity is there. I get confusion and
Exactly.
overwhelm and a bit of
Exactly.
anxiety. If I
Exactly.
force the timing,
Uh-huh.
I get impatient and the anxiety comes. Yep.
Exactly. So we've said clarity of intent, and we've said we've got in our dictionary of power, we've got clarity of intent, right? We've also got setting an intent. Yeah. But we have really, that I remember specifically, introduced the concept, the power conception of holding an intent, right? So in this case here, we go into our hearing and we hold an intent. The key is, which intent do we hold? We need to hold a complete overview intent, which incorporates all the smaller intents. So, making sense, sorting, comprehending, arranging, figuring out, unscrambling, and all this stuff. Those are all sub intents to the bigger intent of what hearing means. Yes. So hearing is this
At the bigger picture.
exactly. Hearing is thus a layered. It's a layer cake, right? It's a compost cake of all of these millions of ingredients that we put in there, and that's what we're going through. We are packing this intent of hearing with all these sub intents. Yes, and the key is we let it happen. We trust our intent. We set the intent to hear. We know what hearing means because we've gone through it deliberately. Each slide, each iteration, we thoroughly understand what it means, and we add it to the big intent, and then it happens by itself. This is incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. Of course, we have to give it time to work. That's capital P timing. Yes. I'm keen to
The
know, honestly.
combination of capital H, capital P, capital T, capital
Yes.
D,
Yes.
and
Yes.
what else? Hearing, patience, timing,
Capital
diplomacy, and
WI
trust. Trust. I'm sorry.
and capital
I for
WI.
impeccability. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what are all those initials again, please?
Hearing, patience, trust,
Just the
timing.
initials. HP.
Oh, HPTDTI.
Wow. Arrange them in some word or some nice arrangement. I
Happy,
need to see them. I,
happy.
I can't do it without the visual. You know what I mean?
uh,
Just my brain, it works. It's useful to visualize. All right, let me get to. I can write it down here real quickly. All right, so we've got. Read them off to me again, please.
H,
Uh huh.
P,
HP. Yeah, you can go.
P,
Uh,
D.
uh, sorry, HPTD, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I as well. What was the other
It's
one?
HPTDTI.
TI. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to rearrange them. So, well, the way I got it now, you get hip to it. Yeah. Okay. So if we go, and take the T, then we get, uh, oh, we get pithy, pithy, pithed, pithy. Anyway, we can mess with it another time. It'd be nice to make a little word out of it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Ready to go on?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone,
Anyway.
you good?
Yeah. The second part of that, write out in detail what you proved to yourself and for yourself with the preceding exercises. What do you now feel confident about doing? So first, what did you prove to yourself with doing that exercise of setting that intent and then letting it happen inside you? What did that prove to you, to yourself?
I've always known that if I capital T trust and capital P have patience, it happens all by itself. I don't need to do anything.
There you
It
go.
just
There you go.
was self-affirming just to be.
Yeah. And what do you now feel confident about doing?
I've always felt confident in doing that, and now I just continue to feel confident.
Yeah. Now you feel confident about your confidence.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just confirmed.
That's what came up.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. And what do you not feel confident about doing and applying? The answer, yeah.
Nothing.
Exactly. 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 Next. Brilliant. 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 Brilliant.
If you don't have patience, get it.
Oh, please say that in Sergeant Major Donna's voice. If you don't have patience, get it. Bloody hell.
Don't
Right?
have patience, get it. Yes.
That's right. Sorry, there's no choice here. There's no option. This is absolute. This is drill sergeant. Actually, you don't have patience, get it. Don't mess about. Sorry, and no time for you if you don't want to get your own patience. That's it, right? You like that
I
picture?
don't know that you really get it, is what came up.
Yeah. Well, I'll acquire it. You know.
Own it. It's already there. You don't
Yeah.
even have to
Yeah.
acquire it. You just have to practice it. And own
Activate
it.
it. Exactly. Activate it. Yes. Yeah. But this
That's
is
the only thing that came up.
Yeah. I mean, this is for the troopies. You know, they need plain language. So yeah. That's what they used to call us, troopies. Yeah, yeah, troopies. Yeah, it's a diminutive for troops, you know, troopies. Yeah. Uh,
Use our whole body to feel what's going on. That's what this hearing is really for me all about. It's
yeah.
what so when I see this stuff, it's so exciting because it's like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to like.
Yes. So this is again what the program does. It is to bring into absolute crystal clear conscious awareness what we already know.
Right.
The moment you read it, you yes, of course, but that's key to bring it into conscious awareness.
Right. It's hard to bring things into conscious awareness when you don't have the words for things. So it's been very helpful. We use our mind and spirit to comprehend and make sense. That's basically hearing right there. The combination, the integration of the mind and spirit to sort, arrange, figure out, put together, unscramble, and otherwise do a whole bunch of things like we just talked about that we don't normally, like bunch of things not normally done.
Yeah.
What's absolutely critical to fully understand is all of what's happening inside us, all the work we are doing, all we allow to happen happens inside of us. Yeah, it's not even work, it just happens automatically. You just got to get out of your own way. We set ourselves to enable this through intent.
Yeah, nice.
Absolutely vital key to all of this is to stay out of it yourself and to make space within yourself for it all to take place and then to surface for you to access and use when needed, if needed. That's a key point for me. Just shut up, because sometimes it's not needed,
Yeah, shut your mouth, darling. Sue so
right?
loves that. Sue just loves that. Tickles her every time. Sometimes also it's shut your ears, darling.
Right.
Shut your eyes particularly,
Exactly.
because you can be so distracted by the visuals you need to do. And well, it's not completely shut your ears, but you need to filter the ears. Yeah, but certainly shut the eyes. Absolutely, very critical. Very critical. You do that. You do that. You shut your eyes quite regularly, and you can see, you listening. So very useful. And also, there's just a strategic usage to that. I'm sitting in a meeting and the boss is saying something really important, and I'm like going like this, right, Donna? If you have a look. No, I mean, look at the video. Can you see me on the video or not? Because I want to
Yes, I
demonstrate
can
what I
see you.
mean.
I'm looking at you.
Sorry. Okay, I thought you look out. So if I'm going, and I'm cocking my head, but my eyes are closed. This indicates I'm like really concentrating on what you're saying, because that's for
Right.
me how I concentrate, right? I mean, it doesn't make
Right.
any difference. What I find amusing is I do this with a headset on, but 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 psychologically it enhances my focus. Attention management on my part. It's very
Right.
powerful, very powerful. So, but again,
We
too,
all
you're
have, I
cueing
think
somebody
we
else.
all have those little things that
Yeah,
we do to like really focus
yeah,
and
yeah.
hear in that manner. And if we're
Exactly.
aware of what we do, then we can leverage them. We
And
can
we
set
can
the
use them
intent
consciously
and
and deliberately.
right.
Exactly. Exactly.
But you can't
Exactly.
leverage something unless you make it
Exactly.
deliberate for yourself.
Exactly. 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 You cannot leverage something unless it's conscious. That's a nice little quote there. Yeah. 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 Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, you didn't read the last part of that slide, the bold part.
Absolutely, completely, totally have to acquire capital P patience for capital H hearing to work.
Yes, Rick, listen up. Well, for the first part. Yeah, yeah. It's so powerful. It's so simple, though. It's so simple, but it's the key, and that's why I feel Bina has really, mastered or wizardified capital H hearing, because you have phenomenal patience, Bina. By the way, right, Bina?
I guess so.
Yes, yes, yes. Agreed to with appropriate modesty. Brilliant. You do, Bina. You do. And Donna has patience too. Not always she believes it's in evidence, but Donna, you do, right? Yeah, you have ridiculous patience when you set your mind to having patience. It's like tweak. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's hear.
Exercises. Can you wait? Yes. Can you wait without stress?
Yeah.
Yes. What's going on inside when you are being impatient?
Mm.
I'm looking to the future. Where's your intent, your agenda ahead of myself? Does your impatience imply you're not fully in the present? Absolutely. Not
Mm.
fully accepting responsibility for where you are? Yes.
Mm.
Duh. How come you're not accepting everything is right in the moment? Because I'm focusing on ahead of the moment. What actually
Mm.
happens and changes as a result of your impatience?
Mm. Can I
My
go back one?
filters.
Sorry. I know you're on a roll here. How come you're not accepting everything is right in the moment? You said you in the future. Okay, I guess it's the same thing. I also wanted to say yes, agenda, intent, but context specifically. When we out of context, out of phase with appropriate context, then it all goes foobar, right? Yeah.
Correct. What actually happens and changes as the result? You go foobar. Would you say that word was?
Foobar, yeah, foobar.
Foobar.
It's, yeah. It's an acronym for effed up beyond repair. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've never heard
Yeah,
that
yeah.
before.
It's
I
foobar, but without the A. Yeah. So, or if you want to add the A, it's effed up beyond all repair. So yeah,
gotcha.
foobar. It's a classic kind of marine thing, military thing.
Oh,
Yeah, foobar. Yeah,
you
it's
were
very useful. Very
you were
good
in the
term.
military? No,
Two
you were
years.
not.
Yeah, 2 years.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Did you share that with me and I wasn't listening? I wasn't hearing you. I don't know that I ever
You
knew
just didn't
that.
remember, but I've mentioned that I was in the army. Yeah, I talked about the garbage truck and all that stuff, and about the when I said when we came to the recruitment, when they came to the
Oh,
camp
yes. Now
train.
it's all
So,
coming back. Yes,
right.
yes,
But the,
yes.
the reason you don't think of it as me being in the military was because it's not the same as somebody joining the military. Yeah, I was a conscriptee, so it's a whole different deal. I didn't voluntarily join the military, so it's not an employment as such. You're a prisoner for 2 years essentially. I mean, they let you out on leave, but you're still a prisoner for the rest of the time. You can't leave voluntarily. It's quite amazing. You don't think of it that way, most people, but anyway. It was good training though, or good practice actually. It's good opportunity to practice strategy and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, keep going, keep going.
How is impatience connected to arrogance? I just feel as though, what did I put for this? Right now what's coming up is if you're present and you're just leaving your agendas at the doorstep, you're hearing. So in that moment, you think your agenda is more important than what's actually going on, and it's kind of
Exactly,
arrogant.
exactly. Right, but specifically when it comes to impatience, because impatience connected to time. If you're arrogant, you're assuming or you're insisting that the world run according to your timetable. That's the arrogance. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
You actually be a phony? No. Does your impeccability not demand patience? Yes. Why is capital P patience so super, super important and critical? Without patience, you're not going to hear. Make a case justifying your impatience as valid when people don't listen and it's best for the end result.
Yeah. There's another reason why capital P patience is super, super important and critical, because it is the chief and key and principal component for enabling capital T timing. You cannot have timing happen if you don't have patience, right?
Yeah, I
Won't
tied
happen.
it to, let's see, what did I tie this to? This is 62. Yeah, I think you're right. My intelligence, my mind and thoughts are ahead of my actions. When I'm impatient, my breathing changes. My time and what I'm doing is more important than the present moment, which is arrogant. I'm not phony. My impeccability demands patience. Capital P patient anchors you to allow yourself to be present.
Mm.
Impatient is valid when you have a key download from source and you're going to forget it. And so you have to blurt it out so that everybody can receive the benefit of it. And then I have a haha because, that's something I'm working on.
I like that. I like that. So I am a haha. I love that. I love that. That's very cool. I mean,
That's my justification for my impatience. That's why I put haha.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, without it
Uh,
it doesn't allow you to be present. It doesn't
yeah.
allow you to just be.
Exactly. And you can miss stuff, and opportunity can come and go, and you're not noticing it because immersion restricts awareness. Sorry, impatience restricts awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so does emotion, but yeah, impatience is
Yeah.
what we're talking about. Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely, it makes you. It takes away your focus, your attention. So impatience is really poor attention management. Patience is really good attention management. Since that's our theme today, right? Attention management. We'll bring it all back to that. Um, Don Juan had a cool thing. He called them the attributes of a warrior. Oh, getting Robin visit us. Brilliant. The attributes of a warrior. And on this, uh, is Robin here? All right. So hold on, Robin. We're going to say hello to you in 1 second. I just want to finish what I was saying here. So for patience, this concept that in order to get not patience but timing, the two other factors that add to timing. So you got patience, discipline, and forbearance. And when you apply those three, you can create timing. Right? It's patience in order to the ability to actually wait for it, and then you've got the discipline to stick to your waiting and not be distracted. And forbearance means you can resist pressure. Yeah. So those, when
Wouldn't
you
it be
put those
cool if we
together,
could
you
bend
create time.
time? If we could take it to that next layer and
You do. Then there's a fifth element in that, right? You got patience, discipline, forbearance, timing. What's the fifth element? Will. And that's when you bend time. That's when you bend time. So you can